The reason I went to Yes We Can youth clinics was because I had a drug problem. I was using cocaine on almost a daily basis, and I drank alcohol every day and used other kinds of drugs. My youth was good. I have very loving parents, but they were away a lot for work. I was born in the US and I grew up in Washington, D.C., but I moved to Luxembourg when I was 9. That was a really hard time for me to go through such a big change at a young age. I started to get bullied for my accent, and then in high school I was bullied because of my weight, and people said I had fat legs, and I started to think about that more, and I started to believe what they said to me. The first moment I used drugs was when I went to the US. On my trip to Mexico, I stopped in the US, and a friend of mine introduced me to cocaine, and I really liked it because I could talk to people easily and I felt confident. I just wanted to be someone else. I didn't want to be myself, and I started to put on different masks, and that made me feel very lonely. A standard regular day before I came to Yes We Can was waking up very late, around 12 or 1 or even later, because I had been drinking the night before or using other drugs, and I felt horrible. It took me a long time to get out of bed. Then I would sometimes stay at home because sometimes I just felt too scared to leave the house, and other times I would try to go to university, although I barely went to classes. I was waiting actually the whole day for the moment I could drink again, so around 4 I would buy a bottle of wine and go home. My flatmates were also drinking quite a lot, so I would drink wine with them, and then I would call my dealer to get cocaine, and then I would use until maybe 5 a.m. I would be up, and then the same cycle would start the next day. I went to a psychologist in Luxembourg for a long time for my eating disorder then. And I went to a therapist in London and a psychiatrist in London, and I got prescribed different medications, and none of them worked, so that's why I came here. They took me off those medications, and I've been off antidepressants now as well, and that's a really big thing for me because before I came here, I hadn't been clean for a day in 2.5 years, and now I've been clean for almost 5 months. It was the right place for me because there were a lot of people my age that had similar problems, and because there were therapists with a lot of experience with addiction, but also because it wasn't only focused on addiction, it was about the problems underlying the addiction, because the addiction is just a symptom of it for me. Like, using drugs was just a symptom, and here they treat really the underlying problems, so my low self-worth and the emptiness I always felt. I always had the feeling I had a lot in common with fellows, and even if their problems weren't exactly the same as mine, I could always relate to things they said and things that they had been through in their life, and I could learn a lot from that. That's what I really appreciated about this place, was the similarities between fellows.
Go! Yes! Yeah!
The most important thing I learned was to speak out and to be with myself, because I was looking for all different kinds of ways not to be with myself. I have to get what I need from the outside from in myself, so I've stopped blaming the outside world for my problems, and I'm looking for things from inside of me, and also my self-worth has improved a lot because of that. To the coaches and the therapists and the counselors, I'd like to say one thing. You really changed my life, and you helped me learn so much about myself that I didn't know before. I want to really thank you for everything that you did for me.